Yes, sir. Welcome to Under the Hood Sports. I'm your host with the most, Johnny Hill. Hey, man, if you don't know me, you really should know me. Hey, man, I got my boy on the show. If we're the Hardy Boys, he Jeff Hardy, I'm Matt Hardy. Hey, my light skinned brother, the everybody you should know him because he came on here before. My boy Tarohn Finley. What's up, Tarohn? How you doing, my brother?
My boy Johnny always coming with that energy. It don't matter if it's 6 in the morning or 8 at night. My boy Johnny turning up. Hey, just make sure it's before 10, because that brother trying to go to sleep early now.
Hey, it's almost that time too. So let's get to it, Teron. Hey, Teron, man, this NFL season had been amazing, Teron. Everything from potential a triple crown winner in Jamar Chase. We had a 2,000-yard rusher, almost had two 2,000-yard rushers 1 year. And we also had the ups and downs of the Kansas City Chiefs, but they still are the Kansas City Chiefs. Your own Detroit Lions doing their thing, man, really putting on for the D, man. So, Teron, what was your biggest takeaways of the NFL, man, of Week 18? What was it?
My week 18, you see, I got on the Detroit Lions shirt. Detroit Lions, they surprised everyone this season, even
Yeah,
though they were coming off a pretty good season last year where they went to the NFC Championship. And if only they stopped the clock in the first half, they would have went to the Super Bowl. But,
yeah,
the collapse began, and everyone wondered if these Detroit Lions could come back. And if what they showed last night was a sign of things to come, they're in pretty good shape despite the injuries they faced throughout the season. Beat the Minnesota Vikings, the
yeah.
first time in franchise history where they are the 1 seed going into the playoffs with that bye week, which they needed, Johnny.
They
We
need it.
talked about.
They need it. Everybody, hey, we got some brothers limping around that building, man. But one thing about it, man, the Detroit Lions, they're a team that is very gritty. They're a team that is a big threat. And I'm right now, Teron, I'm on record in the NFC. They going to the Super Bowl, man. We're gonna see, but I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. I don't have them being Kansas City. Cause I got Kansas City winning it. What do you feel about that?
Okay. So a rematch from, what was that, week one a few years ago, right?
Yeah, a few years. I want to say 2 years ago.
So yep. So this should be a great, if we're going off rematches from, the past years, we did beat the 49ers. So I think I might be taking Detroit, even though Detroit cost me $650 yesterday, Johnny.
What? What?
For the summer, I'm not a betting man, but
You're not. You're not.
I was playing fantasy
Uncharacteristic.
football. I was playing fantasy football and my team made it to the championship. Some reason my boy Tay decided to make the championship game in week 18, where no starters for the most part are playing unless they have something on the line. So I had to drop all the starters. I had Josh Allen, Kyron Williams, Cooper Cup, and
Oh
just
yeah,
field the
you had a
team
loaded
off
roster.
the waiver. But despite that, I was still up. Jaden Daniels, my opponent had Jaden Daniels playing. He set out after the first half, only put up 4 points. So I was up by $30 before Jahmyr Gibbs put up 4 touchdowns. So it was fun as a Lions fan, but I would be $650 richer if I won. Instead, I came in second place, only won $50. So a little disappointed. But other than that, like you said, the Lions look good. But Johnny, we have to talk about who stood out for the Lions yesterday. And before we talk about the standouts, because we had Amik Robinson, did his thing versus Justin Jefferson, even though Sam Darnold is responsible just as much as Amik Robinson for that performance that Justin
Bro,
Jefferson and Addison had.
hey, Sam Donald rewind the clock. He looked like he was in Carolina and New York. Is the magic over
J.
with
Sam Darnold.
Sam?
So, but before we talk about Amik Robinson's great performance, because he did have one, And Jahmyr Gibbs, I'm not gonna talk too much about that because he cost me $650, like I said. Let's talk about the other standout, the returnee, Thor. They call him Thor. Johnny, you actually have a personal experience with the Detroit's own Clay Matthews. Talk about Alex Anzalone and your first encounter with Alex Anzalone.
Man, okay, we was at Lions camp, like I was doing report for Sports Rap Radio. Okay, Tarohn, this man, everybody interviewing everybody. I said, you know what? This free game, free game. I see a guy up there. I said, oh dang, look who it is. I thought I was in the Avengers movie who I just saw, bruh. I said, okay, let me talk to this man. I said, what's up, Alex? How you doing, man? Can I get a quick word? He said this. Am I doing media today? I almost said you are. You are doing media today. And that is me. That's what I almost said to that man. I said, you are. I should have said you are right now. But yeah,
Man, and you know what's crazy? He didn't do a lot of media this year because he was down. He was injured most of the year, so he should have took all the media availability he could get in the beginning of the season. And despite that, he had a great performance. He returned yesterday, and he really, in some ways, to me, revitalized this defense. I don't know about you, Johnny, but this defense hasn't looked like this since Hutchinson went down. Do you
yeah,
think this is sustainable in the playoffs against guys like Saquon Barkley, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Jalen Hurts if he can get out of concussion protocol? And then we seen what they did to the Vikings, and we're still have to be a little afraid of Jordan Love because what he does in the second half of these last two seasons has been pretty great, despite what they did against the Bears yesterday. But Johnny, back to the question. Do you think this defense that showed up yesterday against the Vikings held them to 9 points when everyone thought this would be the game of the year? Do you think they can hold other teams like the Eagles, like the Packers to that in the biggest moments?
I honestly don't. Tarohn, despite that they got an all-pro in Kirby Joseph, they got a pro bowler in Brian Branch, and Tarohn Arnold, he gonna be second team. If he not first team all rookie team, he gonna be second team all rookie team. They got a lot of great young potential there. But man, it's too young. I still need to believe. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's me, Tarohn. I'm not fully believing in that defense, man. And if I want to be honest, Alex, he have done his thing. He did his thing coming back off injury, man. But I do not believe in them in the highest of moments. I don't. I don't believe in this defense. I really don't. And you know what? It's okay. The thing with the Detroit Lions, man, where I really see like they're a team that who can go band for band. Let's just say it like that, point for point. Like one thing about this Detroit Lions team, we know they can score for sure. They can score without a doubt. And Jahmyr Gibbs, 4 touchdowns. Man, how about Jared Goff? We need to hear more MVP talk about him, but he been going under the radar. Like everybody talking about Lamar. You've been hearing even more rumbles about you heard more rumbles about what's his name? Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow was getting some rumbles, but after they lost, you ain't hearing nothing. Josh Allen, you been hearing stuff about him. MVP talk. Jared Goff, for them to really get to it, it's got to be on his shoulders, Tarohn. He got to come up clutch in the biggest of moments. And I honestly feel for the Detroit Lions to go where they need to go, I don't believe in their defense. It got to be on Jared Goff. Got to be.
I can definitely see that, Johnny. And I think outside of, like you said, Jared Goff, the defense is, what's going to determine if the Lions go to the Super Bowl. Just because it was last week where we saw an injured 49ers team put up 40 plus scoring
That's
on
what I'm
nearly
saying.
every possession until Purdy went down. But this team showed something different yesterday. Yes, I'm concerned about Tarohn Arnold. What does his injury look like? I don't think there's been any reports about his timetable. The bye week should help, but you do have, like we said, Alex Anzalone coming back. We have Jack Campbell who can be in his better position as a pass rushing
Outside
blitz.
like, blitzing type of guy. Yeah.
Yeah, instead of being in the middle all the time and have to communicate in only his second year out of Iowa. And like you said, we have the two best safeties in the game right now. If we're talking about duos, there might be better safeties than them overall, but we had the interception leader in Brian Branch, who I think has had a tremendous year being able to go from
Breakout.
Nick.
Breakout year. Him and
Yeah.
Kirby. That's the thing about this. To me, Taron, I can't name a better safety duo than them. I honestly can't. Because if you look at
Right.
the production from the numbers don't lie. And I'm being honest. Kirby Joseph got robbed of being a Pro Bowler this year. He did. I see. They gave it to oh my goodness the safety for the Packers
Oh, Xavier McKinney.
Xavier Xavier was number 2 in interceptions. I think his tackles were higher if I'm not mistaken. But I want to know what went into it. That is politics. That and the reason I say this, Taron, I don't know if you've seen this clip. There was a clip of Matthew Stafford saying Kirby Joseph to his face, "I know what you about. You're dirty." And my question from hearing that and seeing him not making the Pro Bowl is that what other coaches are thinking who voted? Because,
I think, to be honest, it's a popularity contest, and I think Xavier McKinney is a phenomenal safety. He really helped turn around the Packers defense after years of struggling. In the first year being with them after being on the Giants his whole career, being in that Heffley defense. So I think that he's done a great job. But like you said, Kirby Joseph is the interceptions leader. I think that Kirby Joseph kind of came out of nowhere for a lot of people this year.
yeah,
Like there was talks about, Brian Branch already being the guy there, and he's a great, versatile player being a safety now, then going back to a slide after playing there all his rookie season. So I can see you saying he's more versatile, but I think it's a popularity contest. So I don't put too much in the Pro Bowl rankings, but
I like all
all
pro.
pro, you can
All
see.
pro was
Yeah,
valid. Like
you got
that's the best of the best. Like
exactly.
with the all pro, numbers do not lie.
Right.
That's what it's all about, the numbers and what your record is. Pro Bowl is about the fan votes, about coaches, about player votes. It's media votes. There's so many other things that go into it. Teron, let's transition. I was disappointed this year, and we're talking about the biggest disappointments this season. Teron, I was disappointed. Not just
Tell me,
with the
John.
NFL, but with college. I'm not gonna go into college, but we're talking NFL right now. I was disappointed, Teron.
Oh, Johnny, give it to me, man. I want to hear all of it because I think I know where you're going with this.
This year had the chance to be the best football season I have ever seen in my life. Saquon Barkley was 103 yards away from breaking Eric Dickerson record. 103, Teron. 103 yards. Derrick Henry, I want to say he was like 30 or 40 yards away from getting 2,000. The NFL, this resting stuff they want to do, I hope they win the Super Bowl. Why can't Derrick Henry rush for 2,000 yards twice in his career? Nobody has ever done that, rush for 2,000 yards twice. We could have seen that from Derrick Henry. We could have seen Saquon Barkley break Eric Dickerson record. That's what I wanted. I wanted to see that. I wanted to see history. Ashton Genty, Hey, brother, I don't blame you for that lackluster offensive line. Nobody will go rush for 100 yards behind that thing. You lucky you got 80. You really are because people are getting bulldozed. There was so many times in this football season. Aaron Rodgers, who we don't know who that is. You might as well call him Zach Wilson. Roger Aaron. That's what his name should be. Reversing. Roger Aaron. We flipping his name because where was that brother at? Nowhere. Man, there was so many disappointment. Like, man, and the injuries, man. I always hate seeing people get injured, seeing Tank Dell get hurt. That was something I didn't like, man. Cause just seeing him because I seen Tank at the Senior Bowl. I also seen him up and close when Memphis played Houston and he gave us work. But like I never like seeing people get hurt. George Pickens giving up on a play. Man, he want talk about him and Russell Wilson ain't on the we're on the same page. Didn't look like it. Didn't look like it for that last performance. He dropped the ball 3-4 times. What
He
was you
did.
doing? There was so many disappoint. The Giants, they disappoint everybody. They can't even lose, right? Oh man, and I'm gonna save my other disappointment for later. But go ahead, Tarohn.
So I'm just gonna go off of all of that you just said. I was disappointed too. I don't know if you've seen that thing on Instagram where it said they traveled, what it was at 100,000 miles or something like that. It was
Yeah,
something
to
crazy.
see
Go
Saquon.
see Saquon. And just to see Tanner McKee and all these other like backup players,
Who?
they man, they got to see all these backups on the Eagles. I would be very disappointed if I was them. Ask for a refund, ask to personally get an autograph from Saquon Barkley. I would ask for everything. So I know they're very disappointed, like you, Johnny. And Ashton Genty, I was disappointed too. I tuned into the Boise State game just to see him make history. They was just very sad. They did line up so many people in the box because they knew once you stop Boise State and Ashton Genty in the run game, it's over. So their
It's over.
Cinderella is over with.
It's
It's
over.
over for the whole team. We might not see them too much in future years without an Ashton Genty level player at Boise State. And then like you said, Derrick Henry, he didn't get to 2,000 yards twice, which is phenomenal to say. With him being up there in age as well, so in running back years, let's put it like that. They're definitely shaking the stereotype. And then, like you said, a lot of injuries this season with Tank Dell. Everybody knew a player that played like Tank Dell in middle school, elementary school, just a fast, shifty, short
Richie,
receiver.
bro.
You would have never thought they can make it to the league just because of their size, but had the best heart. So I love watching Tank Dell play like you. But Johnny, speaking of record-setting performances, my biggest disappointments had three of them. And I'm talking about the Bengals. They had the Triple Crown. They had Joe Burrow, who had 4,000 yards
Yeah.
passing, had over 40 touchdowns, not too many interceptions. And he said he was playing at the highest level in his career this season. Not the LSU, not at LSU when he had Jamar and Justin Jefferson. He said right now with Jamar and T Higgins. So and then on defense, Trey Hendrickson had the most sacks this season. So for them to have all that talent and not make the playoffs, it just really says a lot about their lack of structure on the defensive end and the offensive line, which they did fire the defensive coordinator and offensive line coach right now. But Johnny, I think this is a waste. The Bengals just let another season in Joe Burrow's prime go to waste, and he was fairly healthy this season, which has been the biggest concern in recent years. So it's only going to be so long until Joe Burrow, like another former Cincinnati quarterback, he might have to get up out of there like a Carson Palmer did and went to the Cardinals. How long until Joe Burrow says it's enough. They probably gonna let T. Higgins walk.
Yeah, he's
They're gonna
gone.
pay
He's
Jamar,
not there.
but how long does Trey Hendrickson have left? He was considering
He's
retiring,
getting
I think.
older. Trey getting old. Isn't he like 29, 30, around that age?
That's what I'm saying. And we seen with Aaron Donald, just because you're elite level, which he's not a no Aaron Donald now,
No,
but just,
levels. Levels.
just because you're an elite defensive player, it's only so long until you might be ready to hang it up. So Johnny, I think the Bengals were my biggest disappointment this season.